How's it going, everybody? My name is Bo, and I'm a home theater enthusiast. And yeah, it's been a while since I made a home theater related video, so I apologize to the new subscribers I got from my front wall makeover series. But like I said in my last video, I was pretty set on the room, and without having a project, I was kind of, what else can I do except walk around the room? But in multiple videos, I did state that I would like to switch up the doorway between the theater room and my PC room, and also where my equipment is, from this hideous curtain that was a simple, easy solution, but never really looked the best, to something a little more appealing visually, and uh, something that lived up to the quality of the rest of the room. So I was thinking about this for months and couldn't really come up with a good design, because I didn't want to add just another wood door that could potentially vibrate, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Well, I'm glad I didn't, because I would have had to undo all that with my current project that I'm working on. Is going to involve that door, but also it's going to add something else I've been hoping to do, is get the projector out of the theater room and have it in the back room. And I think I've come up with a solution. Now, disclaimer, I initially wasn't going to make a video because I wasn't sure if this was going to work. So I did did a lot of work, which I'll show in a second to help explain what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, I kind of wanted to get the projector out of the room, and I fantasized about filling in that whole doorway, drywalling it, and having a window and having the projector. But that just wouldn't be practical, because then I'd have to do a not so great doorway from the furnace room into that room. It would have been pretty inconvenient. So I think I come up with a solution, which I will demonstrate here in a second. But some of the main objectives for doing this: obviously I wanted to have a nicer looking door in the back of the room. B, during quiet parts of movies, I do notice the projector's fan noise, even though it's on low, and it take me out of the moment. It's a bit distracting with super quiet scenes to hear the projector. It's not super loud, but it is noticeable. Also, the room gets pretty warm if I watch a couple movies in the same day, and the heat from the projector does heat up the room. Also, this 7-year-old Sony has manual lens shift, zoom, and focus. So anytime I switch from scope aspect ratio to 16:9 content, it's not that big of a deal. It takes me about 45 seconds to manually dial it in, but that's not really going to work with the new setup. So a third perk is going to be getting a new projector, upgrading finally after 7 years, going to hopefully a native 4K, and my cat wanted to come say hi. I'm hoping to see a pretty significant image quality bump no matter which model I go with. But the main thing with the new projector is going to be getting rid of the manual lens shift and zoom. So I need one that's going to have motorized and lens memory. And so it seems like a no-brainer at this point to get a new projector, even though I'm very happy with the current image of this Sony. As far as the brightness and colors, I think it's a really good image, but black levels are definitely lacking, and if I push it all the way back to the room, I actually can't even zoom down to 16:9 because it has a shorter throw distance. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil which projector I'm going to get right now, but let's just say it should be a significant upgrade for me. But with that, let's go into the back room. I'll help explain what I'm actually trying to achieve and how it's all going to work, and we'll do that in a second. All right, so here we are in the actual PC room / equipment room, and you can see some studs and a piece of pink foam board. Now that represents the actual projector shelf where it's going to be. I just needed to make sure, my head wasn't going to hit. and I'd have enough clearance. I have to remove the casing boards and then these 2x4s, and then there's actually a 1/4 inch spacer board up there, so I'm hoping to have 10 inches from there to the shelf. And you see, if you look at this line, I'm actually going to frame out a rectangle there and on this side as well, and drywall that on this side and in the theater room and match it with the wall color. And then this is going to be an opening. This is where the projector is going to go. Basically going to be pushed, the front of the projector is going to be pushed to the, even with the, in the theater room with the wall. So as you may or may not have noticed, it's going to be above the drop ceiling. So in here, I am just going to do the drop ceiling from there, and then it's just going to be open. So it's going to go here and out to here, and then it's just going to be open. So there's plenty of ventilation. Now I'm going to cut to some footage before I painted all this so you can see that it's an old house. So it doesn't have plywood. It has slat boards with gaps, and anytime any kind of stomping or pounding goes on, dirt will fall down onto the back of the drop ceiling. Every time I pull these panels off, there's all kinds of dirt and stuff. So cut to what we have now. I have cleaned, primed, and painted above where the projector is going to sit, and I actually took some of the same foam board. I cut the nails that were protruding down, and I glued up the foam board, caulked the seams, and painted it. So this is all clean and fresh, and there's no dirt is going to be coming, falling down on top of the projector. So that was a thing I didn't even think about when I started this project, and that kind of added quite a bit of time. But I don't want to buy a nice expensive projector and then have dirt and debris falling on it. So let's go into the workshop and I'll show you a little bit more. Well, here we are in the workshop. There is the actual shelf, and that sunlight makes it look like it's got a gloss finish, but it's actually flat. So this is the shelf. It's 24 inches deep by about 36, and I have these pieces of angle aluminum which I drilled the holes and painted, and the purpose of these is to be screwed and keep it nice and flat this way. And then I have this 36-inch piece which will go on the back edge, and I'm hoping that it will keep it from warping with the weight of the projector. So the front will have, here's where the new framing will be, and it'll be screwed from the bottom up. That will hold it, and then I'm also going to have to rig up some kind of bracket to hold it up to the ceiling. It'll be kind of like in this room. I have to have something up there that'll keep this, the back side from moving. And yeah, I haven't come up with that design yet, but this is the shelf, and a little unexciting, but this is a mock-up made out of cardboard of a JVC projector. And you might be wondering, does that mean I'm buying a JVC? Well, the real purpose of making this out of cardboard, which actually turned out pretty nice. It looks pretty convincing, actually. I'm going to get the shelf up, and I'm just going to make sure there's clearance for a JVC projector if that's the route I go now or in the future. I don't want to limit myself and have to redo all this down the road. So we'll see. I think I made my measurements right. We'll see when this thing's level and stuff, if I'll actually be able to get a JVC up there without having to just completely demolish the whole drop ceiling. It's going to be tight either way. But yeah, that's what we're working on now. I think I'll go back into the theater room, take the trim off, take the door jambs off, and cut the 2x4s, and then I'll do an update after that. Alright, I've been really bad at remembering to film. Lighting's terrible in here, but let me go in here. Alright, so quite a bit of work accomplished since the last time I filmed. It doesn't look like much, you know, those little 2x4 rectangles, but there's a lot of measuring and recalculating. I was trying to get a 23-inch opening. I ended up with like 22 3/4 because I was trying to make sure that they were level this way and they're level all the way across. And let me turn this light off so you can see a little bit from this side. I got the drop ceiling down along the wall, and I painted and put up some foam board there. I'm going to have a acoustically transparent ceiling panel there. I'm hoping the heat from the projector is going to go up into that and instead of into the room, so hopefully that works. But yeah, I'm going to cut some pieces of drywall and do some drywall mud, let that dry overnight, sand, prime, and paint tomorrow, and then I'll be able to put the shelf up, and then the casing boards I cut, and gonna have those painted. So I've made progress. You can see now the opening is filled in, drywalled, joint compound, sanded, and primed. This side looks done, but I still have to put a semi-gloss white. And then I'm going to paint these sides here the gray of the trim color. That's also going to be on the door casing. And then it's going to be wall color there. And then above is just going to be black. And I'm going to paint that black. Some foam board I put up there and caulked just so no dust would be falling down in front of the projector if the house was creaking or something. So yeah, doesn't look like much, but this was actually a lot of work, a lot of sanding, a lot more sanding than I had planned. I am going to have a bit of an issue down here. There is a gap, and I'm trying to get away from using trim with the idea I have for doors. So I actually got to do some more sanding and filling. But yeah, let me go show you the other room. Here's one half of my idea that I have for opening bifolding doors, I guess. I don't know if it's going to work, and if this looks like it's going to work, I got some ideas for finishing the doors, which I think is going to be pretty cool. Just some minor stuff too. I repainted the drop ceiling pieces for the back of the theater room and the panels. So I did a lot of painting. There's the door jamb, some screen frame there. That's going to be the drop ceiling piece up right in front of and above the projector. So here's the shelf with the angled aluminum mounted. I think that's going to keep it nice and rigid. So yeah, it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but I spent a lot of time on this. Alright, so I got the painting done and the drop ceiling pieces back in place, and the acoustic panels up, and it looks way nicer. So I have one piece left. It's an acoustically transparent fabric. As you can see the light behind. I spray painted this flat black just to make it have a little less sheen. And the idea is the heat of the projector is going to go up into the ceiling and then into the drop ceiling instead of into the room. That's my theory anyway, you know, heat rises. And I'm getting ready to mount the shelf which I'm excited about because once it's up, it's going to be up for good. And I just put that together just to hold the other end. Let me show you from this side. So I actually put another piece of drywall above just to kind of finish that off. Put the drop ceiling back up, and it's not the prettiest. I did my best. You know, this room could use a remodel at some point, but yeah, I'm gonna get the shelf up and then get the braces here. I made these go up in the ceiling, and then it's gonna hook into these, which will screw into the shelf, and that way this thing is not gonna move. So I'm gonna come back when I get that done. Well, I didn't get that done. I was actually really tired and fatigued from this project at this point, and I stopped recording footage for some dumb reason, so we're going to have to settle for photographs. So as you can see, I got the shelf up and the cardboard JVC sitting there. It's a tight fit, but it does actually fit with the 50-pound projector. I'm a little concerned about it sagging over time, but with the rear brackets I made, at least holds it pretty steady, and it's almost dead level, so I was pretty excited about that. And actually, once I got the ceiling and trim up, it actually looks pretty nice in this PC room looking at it. So there's a close-up of the shelf and the cardboard. So here's a look of the front. Above the projector is an angled piece of acoustically transparent ceiling tile I made out of screen door frame and fabric, and I'm hoping that the heat from the projector will rise up into there and go up into the ceiling and keep it out of the room. We'll see if that works or not. But here are the pair of door frames that I made, and yeah, I was pretty excited at this point. And again, I don't know why I didn't film more footage. I really thought I hadn't filmed enough, but actually while editing this video I realized I did. But here's a tease for you know, the future, but I'm gonna end this video here, and I will come back on the next one to show the finished product and also the new projector. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.